Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. It is Connor here. We're back with another One Leeds episode. We're back with this consistent momentum that is the One Leeds Fan Channel. And consistency is key as well on this channel, not just on the pitch when it comes to Leeds United. So we have been consistent. And we've developed some merchandise, everybody. Make sure you check it out. Link in the description below. Well worth it. Hoodies, T-shirts. We've got hats coming. We've got stickers coming. We've got the lot. Make sure you check that out. SofaScore, link in the description as well if you want some bonus analysis. An affiliate link with One Leeds is there, so you guys get some bonus bits on there as well. Make sure you do so. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you want some bonus podcast content, you can see that on the Patreon. If you want to become a YouTube member, £2 a month, make sure you do so. Hit the join button. All these bonus bits, everybody. The One Leeds Fan Channel is flying, but thanks to you guys, it really is. So anyway, let's get into your Leeds United news, shall we? There was a comment the other day from Brendan Aronson. I'm not going to read it out. We all understand what it was about. It was paraphrasing. We all know what realm we're getting into with the American central attacking midfielder, and that is his return to Leeds United. Back to Leeds, as Gabe would say. Aronson, what on earth is going to happen with him? We know it's a crossroads. We know, ideally, I think as the Leeds United fan base, he'd be gone. Now, listen, that's not a detriment on him, on his career, on his ability, but I just think that the fit isn't going to work. I don't think the fit's going to work in the Championship if we remain. If we go to the Premier League, it's certainly not going to fit because Leeds United are going to have to invest in that squad depth, and that is 5, 6, 7 players coming into the club to be able to cope in the Premier League, to be able to stay 17th in the Premier League for their first campaign, for Leeds United's first campaign. It is that competitive. The level up is ridiculous when you're getting Bournemouth spending more money in 2 successive windows than Atletico Madrid and Juventus. This is what we're talking about right now. We're talking about Luis Sinisterra, Leeds United's best player at the start of the season, not getting into the Bournemouth side. So when I'm talking about all this stuff, everybody, the reason I am is because that level up, it's not just a level up, it's 4, 5, 6 levels up. And that is where you look at someone like Brendan Aronson, you look at some of the lone players, you look at the adaptability of them in a Daniel Farke system, you look at the adaptability of them in a heightened league, in a better league when it comes to calibre, quality, opposition, all this sort of stuff, the culmination, the melting pot that is the Premier League. I don't think that works, to be honest with you. A bench option, I don't mind it, but then yes, I guess that's what I'm probably looking at when it comes to Brendan Aronson. If he wants to sit on the bench throughout a Premier League campaign, that's absolutely fine. But I'm even looking at Championship teams now. I'm looking at top Championship teams, and I'm looking at the 4 that are at the top of the Championship table right now. Does Brendan Aronson get into any of those sides? In that cam role, not for me. Not for me. The only team who I would probably look at and say, do you know what, maybe gets in that is Ipswich, just because of their lower caliber quality player. You know, they've brought a lot of players in from League One, and they've adapted superbly in the Championship. I look at maybe an Ipswich, but then I look at a Nathan Broadhead, and I look at a Connor Chaplin, and I'm like, I'd rather have those two than Brendan Aronson. I really would. So what are we talking about here with him? He is a complete impact sub, in my personal opinion, and that's all he will ever be at Leeds United. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Pascal Struijk, adductor injury, 3 months out for the Whites. This looks like it's going to be a prolonged injury, and I wanted to discuss this, everybody, because I spoke to someone this morning who was in that field, and he was essentially saying, look, it's not just going to be about Pascal Struijk's recovery. It's going to be about getting him back to full fitness and then match fitness. He's not on the training pitch as of yet, it looks like. And this is going to be a long-term thing. So we've got to make sure that he doesn't re-injure himself. We've seen that very, very recently when it's come to Pat Bamford, Luke Ayling, Stuart Dallas. We've got many, many examples. Leeds United have to manage this boy back to the right level because we need Pascal Struijk in the Premier League. Now, we look at the squad depth at this moment in time, and we are praying, touch wood, that nothing happens to Ethan Ampadu, nothing happens to Joe Rodon, our Welsh Dragons at the back, who have been imperious, they've been mesmeric, they've been solid, they've been all these sort of superlatives that, you know, have made them, at this moment in time, the best 2 centre-backs in the division, but they cannot get injured. We cannot afford for them to get injured, and Pascal Struijk being out, being unavailable, has made it even more difficult for Leeds United. And this is why, in a sense, I'd have loved Daniel Farke and Leeds United as a group to have just said, look, they're both injured, they've both picked up minor injuries and done it that way. But the importance to those 4 Welsh lads of this game is huge, is absolutely huge. You've got to let them go and do their thing, you know. But it's such a shame we've not been able to keep them just here. But that next in line is Liam Cooper. and is Charlie Cresswell, both of which aren't fancied whatsoever by Daniel Farke, both of which have come in at points this season, and maybe as a fan base we've gone, okay, it's not been great. I mean, Charlie barely anything, but he's had a couple of minutes, hasn't he? But that is just indicative of Daniel Farke does not liking him whatsoever. Cooper's come in. The Southampton performance stands out to me, where he was just absolutely woeful and they picked him apart. So those two are so important. But when we just bring it all the way back to Pascal Struijk's injury, how long is this going to go on for? Do we need to give him this period of time? We've got 8 games left, 7 weeks? Do you just give him this period to recover, get back to full health, and then we go with him in the Premier League? But it is going to be, once again, an almighty crashing down to earth to Pascal Struijk in terms of that level up that he's going to adapt to straight away. He's going to have to be full fitness back into it and ready for that next level if we are to get there. But the reason I mentioned just the backups, everybody, is because Leeds might be in a little bit of a problematic state come the end of the season. Individuals are out of contract, individuals are on loan who have been some of our best players and now are not going to be potentially coming back to the club. But there are a few bits that Leeds United really need to sort out in this next window. And then you've got to look at the players who are actually going to adapt to the Premier League if we were to get there. Are all of these players going to be able to seamlessly transition? No, it's not realistic. So Leeds have got a lot of work to do in the summer. More news as well. Jorginho Rutter. It looks like he's going to be back within the Leeds United setup within 10 to 14 days. He had successful surgery, according to Leeds United, early on this week. I think it was yesterday, actually. And that it's good that they've got it done quickly. Obviously, he needs that time to recover. I think, according to multiple sources, it's going to be very, very unlikely that he'll be back for Watford. But with the miracle work that we see with surgery and doctors and physicians nowadays, who knows? Who knows if he's going to be back for this massive game for Leeds United? But you all know what I would do anyway. In that position, I'm putting Willian Gnonto centrally, keeping Somerville and Dan James out wide. And I think that inverted positional awareness that Willian Gnonto has, I think, will be really, really good in that cam role. And I think he sort of complements Pat Bamford very well. He's a good ball striker with both feet. And I think as well, he's almost got that creative guile as well to work with Pat. And I think Willie just suits that role absolutely perfectly. So I'd love to see him there. I don't want to see Perot, Bamford in the same team again. Just does not work, in my opinion. So yeah, that is the creative spark we have. A really lovely option there as well. And it's going to be fascinating to see how that one works out. Transfer news. There's been a few comments over the past couple of days that Leeds United, one of their main signings, one of their main targets, I should say, going into the Premier League, if we are to get there, is Sean Longstaff for 15 million quid. Now, I really like that. Once again, you guys know the words that I use for players that I like, especially in the midfield: energy, endeavour, and he's got a bit of quality as well. Played 33 times for Newcastle last season. Do not mind that whatsoever. I think that would be a really nice addition. 15 million quid. You bring him in, and then you bring Joe Rodon in for your first 2 signings. If we're playing Football Manager, you look at maybe 25 million quid for both of those. You've got a lad who's homegrown as well. A lad who is probably going to be in and around the England setup for the remainder of his career if he's able to get to that sort of next level. And he's proven he can get to that next level. But Newcastle needs sales. They need sales to be able to do things, and we know this is how it's going to be working in the Premier League now. We know at points we're going to probably have to sell out. Well, we are going to have to sell our best assets as well. There might be a point where we get up to the Premier League and then have to sell a Somerville or have to sell a Gnonto just to keep within those restrictions. But a signing like Longstaff would be a real statement sign. It's not going to work for him at Newcastle. It doesn't look like. He's fallen out of a little bit of favour, and they want Tonali back in that central space with Bruno. And then what happens to Newcastle? Do they look at bringing someone else in? You probably think they would when it comes to the evolution. The Sean Longstaff for a Leeds United would be a lovely, lovely, lovely signing. And this is apparently something that Farke, according to several reports this morning, is very, very interested in. So yeah, I mean, as a Leeds fan, I'm very, very interested in it as well. I think just because it doesn't work, I don't even know if it's not worked for him at Newcastle. I think it has worked for him at Newcastle. I think Eddie Howe's been brilliant for him. But evidently they want to evolve and get to that next level. And listen, Sean Longstaff isn't within their plans, according to several. And I'm not sure the fan base properly rate him as well for the Champions League campaign and Europe campaign that they're going to be going on in the next 5 to 10 years. So yeah, wait and see with that one, but that would be a nice little addition for me. Now listen, everybody, that is going to be it from me. If you want to check out some bonus content, we've got a podcast with Oscar coming later on. A podcast with Gabe coming later on. We've got bonus bits throughout the international break. I'd really advise you go and look at that sort of stuff. It's well worth it. 35% if you aren't subscribed but watch the videos. Why? Just hit that subscribe, everyone. It's free. Absolutely free. Make sure you do so. It's also free to download. SofaScore, link in the description below. If you want to cop yourself some One Leeds merch, link is in the description below. Everybody have a lovely day, and I'll catch you on the other side. Cheers.